So this is 9701 paper 1 to October November 2018. Question number 1 for each question. Okay. Question number 1. Which statement about enthalpy changes is correct? Which statement about enthalpy changes is correct? Okay. First of all, enthalpy changes of atomization are always negative. No, it's positive. No, it's positive. Okay. Atomization is positive. You know why? Because we are going to convert solid into gas. Of course, the energy is required to convert the solid into gas. So that's the reason enthalpy change of atomization is like the positive. But they are saying it's negative. It's wrong. Okay. Then option B says this is endo. This is endo, and combustion is always exo, and formation are always positive. No, it can be both. It can be both. Enthalpy change of neutralization are always negative. Yes. Okay, you have to memorize this when you are discussing in the energy changes like basically enthalpy change. Okay, so you have to like know each and every process, the nature of each and every process, including atomization, combustion, neutralization, formation, solution, hydration. You must know each and everything. Okay, so option number one, like question number one is D. Beam of charged particles are deflected by an electric field. Okay. The angle of deflection of a particle is proportional to its charge to mass ratio. Okay. In an experiment, protons are deflected. In an experiment, protons are deflected by an angle of plus 15 degree. Okay. Plus 15 degree. In another experiment under identical conditions, this is ions are deflected by an angle of y. So, you can say that deflection angle is proportional to charge to mass ratio. If the angle is 15 degrees, of course, the charge is plus 1. Okay, and the mass is 1. So it would be just like that. Okay, would be just like that. If we talk about this, okay, proton number is 1. Mhm. So it means that again, I am calculating this. Again, I am calculating this. Charge is minus 1. Okay. And this is 2. Mass is 2. Mass is 2. So means that angle would be 0.5 negative. Negative 0.5. Okay. So angle and then charge to mass. If angle is 15 degrees, this is 1. 15 degree for 1. Okay, I'm talking about this. Okay, if this is like that, and then 0.5, so what would be an angle? It is x. It is x. So of course, x would be equal to zero point 0.5 times 15. That would be minus 7.5. B is your correct option. That's it. Okay, very simple. Chale ji. Question number 3. Rubidium and bromine are isoelectronic. Forms ions that are isoelectronic. Each ion has 36 electrons. Which row is correct? देखो एक चीज तो मैं क्लियर कर दूं आपको. The size of cation is always smaller than anion. पक्की बात है. पक्का. Confirm. So ionic radius, cationic radius is lower than the normal one, and anionic radius is greater than the normal one. Okay. So bromine and bromide radii or rubidium radii. Rubidium is a metal. Rubidium is a metal. So ionic radius should be smaller. Ionic radius should be smaller. So it may be C or D. It is confirmed that option A and B is incorrect. They are showing that ionic radius is greater than the atom. No, it's incorrect. Then we have to decide. Then we have to decide between C and D. So of course, bromine It's an anion. It's an anion. Bromine and bromide. It's an anion. Anion means the negative one. Rubidium. It's a metal. It's a metal. Cation. It's a metal. Cation. So let me write very important thing for you that cation is smaller than an atom. Okay. So it should be C. It should be C. D is incorrect because anion is greater than the normal one. So option C is correct. Okay. So you need to know okay which is cation and which is anion. You need to know in this question. Okay. In which set all the molecules have all their atoms arranged in one plane? One plane. Okay. One plane means they all should be tetrahedral, they all should be trigonal planar, they all should be octahedral, they all should be linear. Okay, so means that they should be at the same plane, of course. If first one is tetrahedral and another one is trigonal planars, the answer would be incorrect. Okay, so in one plane, at the same plane basically. So let me check option A. AlCl3 is trigonal planar TP. BF3 is trigonal planar TP. PH3 has one lone pair. You know, P has one lone pair. So it is pyramid shape. So no, they are not lying at the same plane. The two are having at the same plane, but what about the third one? Option A is incorrect. Let me check option B. Option B may AlCl3 is trigonal planar. CO2 is linear. Cl2 is also linear, so it's a planar shape. Okay, it's not a 3D shape. And then ammonia is again pyramid shape because nitrogen is going to have one lone pair of electron. So it's not a planar shape, so it's incorrect. Then we have to check option C. BF3 trigonal planar shape. C2H4, of course, this is trigonal planar. C3H6 is an alkane. It's not. It's a tetrahedral shape. Tetrahedral shape is not a planar shape. It's incorrect. Then we have to check option D. Option D may C2H4 is trigonal planar. It's a double bonded compound. It's also a linear shape. It's a planar shape and water. What about the water? What about the water? You know, water is a bend shape. Bend shape is also a planar shape. Like the all atoms are lying at the same plane. It's a bend shape. Okay, it's a bend shape. So tetrahedral and pyramid shape, they are 3D shapes. You know, when you have a 3D shape, so you can't say that all the atoms are arranged in one plane. Okay, okay. So if you can see water, so they are at the same plane. Carbon dioxide, they are at the same plane. C2H4, they all are at the same plane because this is trigonal planar. It's very easy. Okay. Yeah. This is the tricky one question. First of all, you are supposed to solve this. Then I would be telling you, I'm only giving you 1 minute, not more than 1 minute. Yeah. Start fast. Yes. Hmm. 1.5 minute have been passed. 1.5 minute. Okay. जल्दी कर लो यार. हाँ भाई, आमिना, दुआ, शाफे, सोफिया, उमना, क्या कहते हो? व्हाट्स द आंसर? जल्दी बताओ. ओके, मैं बताता हूँ. सी दिस. Class X contains 5 dm cube of helium at 12 kilopascal pressure, and Y contains 10 dm cube of neon at 6 kilopascal pressure. ओके. तो अब इसको आपने करना ये है कि ये फाइनल प्रेशर पूछ रहा है आपसे. फाइनल pressure is the sum of the individual pressure. Individual pressure is known as the partial pressure. Individual pressure is known as the partial pressure. Okay. तो फाइनल प्रेशर की जब ये बात करेगा, सो आई विल से दैट के P1 plus P2, like the partial pressure, like the individual pressure, like the individual pressure. Okay. So I can say that this is your V1 and this is your P1. This is your V2 and this is your P2. Okay. Uh, you can say that, you can say that PV. I'm talking about the Boyle's law. I'm talking about Boyle's law. Boyle's law was the relationship between pressure and volume, if you remember. So in that law, we have written this one, P1 V1 plus V2 V2 plus P3 V3. So then P and Vn. So I have written the same thing over there. So the P1 is 5, P1 is 12, V1 is 5 plus P2 is 6 and the PV2 is the 10. Okay. This would be equal to P3V3. Can you tell me an answer? P3V3, like the total pressure and volume would be, what's the answer? I think so, 120. This would be, this would be 120. Okay, this would be 120. So we know that P3V3 is equal to 120. Okay. So I need to find out the total pressure, that is this P3. I know the total volume, that is 120, is equal to 120 is equal to no. The total volume is 10 plus 5. That is 15 and the total is 120. So what is P3? What is P3? 120 over 15. That is 8. That is 8. 8 is your correct option. ओके. आसान है, मुश्किल नहीं है. चलें जी, क्वेश्चन नंबर 6 देखिएगा जरा. Exactly. 1 gram of a metallic element reacts completely with 300 centimeter cube of oxygen at 298 Kelvin and 1 atmospheric pressure to form an oxide which contains O2 minus ion. The volume of 1 mole of what could be what could be the identity of the metal? तो अब इसको हम क्या करेंगे? 1 gram of metallic element. Okay, it may be calcium, it may be magnesium, it may be potassium, it may be sodium. अच्छा, ये तो कंफर्म बात है कि ये दोनों ग्रुप 2 के मेंबर्स हैं. ये भी ग्रुप 2 है और ये भी ग्रुप 2 है. ये ग्रुप 1 है और ये भी ग्रुप 1 है. तो इसका जो ऑक्साइड होता है ना, वो MO होता है, इसका भी MO होता है, लेकिन इसका M2O होता है और इसका भी M2O होता है. ये तो अंडरस्टूड बात है. ये तो अंडरस्टूड बात है. ओके. Like I'm saying कि calcium oxide is CaO only. Potassium oxide is K2O only. Sodium oxide is Na2O only. ओके, तो ये होता है इसमें सीन। तो अब हमें करना इसमें ये है कि यार वो मेटल कौन सा होगा। अच्छा, मैं इक्वेशन बैलेंस कर लेता हूँ पहले, सही है। फॉर ग्रुप वन, फॉर ग्रुप टू। मैंने सही बैलेंस की इक्वेशन। या दिस इज बैलेंस्ड। ओके, तो लेट्स सी they have given you the volume of oxygen, that is 300 centimeter cube at 298 Kelvin at 1 atmospheric pressure. So you cannot apply PV is equal to nRT. This is understood. You cannot apply PV is equal to nRT, है ना? कंफर्म है ना ये बात? तो अब हमें करना इसमें ये है, और 1 ग्राम ऑफ every element they have provided you. Okay. So can you tell me the number of moles? Can you tell me the number of moles? 300 divided by 24,000. Because they have given you the volume in terms of centimeter cube, I'm going to divide it by 24,000 to find the number of moles. Can you tell me an answer? Hmm? What's the answer?
0.0125.
Moles. Moles. Okay. So the mole ratio between the metal and oxygen is 2:1, 4:1. That is this. Since I have the moles of oxygen, that is this. What is the number of mole of the metal? Of course, that is X is equal to 4 into 0.025. That is 0.05 mole of M. I need to find the molecular mass. I need to find out the molecular mass. Okay. I need to find out the molecular mass. Okay. So 0. Let's suppose if option A is correct, I'm going to check calcium. I'm going to check one from group 2 and I'm going to check one from group 1. And let's see. And let's see. So 0.05 mole of M. I'm going to multiply this. I'm going to multiply this. Um I'm going to multiply this by the MR of potassium, AR of potassium, that is 39.1. So after multiplication, I am getting the mass of potassium, that is 1.9. No, the mass that was given, that was 1 grams. It's not matching. It's not matching. Option C is completely incorrect. Okay, incorrect, incorrect. Even it's not matching with the sodium. If you're going to multiply this with the mass of sodium, that is 23. That is 23. Are you getting 1? Are you getting 1 after multiplying with this 0.05? No. So let's check calcium. Let's check calcium. So if you can see this, the ratio is 2:1. I have the moles of oxygen, that is 0.0125, and this would be X. So X is equal to 0.0250 mole of metal. I need to find atomic mass, like the mass. So you can say that 0.025 mole into AR of calcium, that is 40.1, is giving you the mass that is equal to 1. So yep, it's going to match with the given mass. Of course, it would be A. Of course, it would be A. In this way, you can solve these type of questions. Hmm? Okay. Hopefully, you will do this. Hopefully, you will do this. It's easy. Fast. Mhm. Hopefully, you would be doing in this manner. They are asking the combustion of ethanol. Let me write down the equation for the combustion of ethanol. Ethanol is C2H5OH. You have to write down the balanced chemical equation. So ये balanced equation है. Okay. So they have given you the formation of CO2, that is this. They have given you the formation of water, that is this. They have given you the formation of ethanol, that is this. It's minus 277. This is indirect route. So the answer is mm, mm, yeah, B is your answer. Okay. Ammonium vanadate, metavanadate can be used to make a solution containing VO2Cl which contain chloride ions. What is the change in the oxidation number of vanadium in this reaction? So first of all, you have to find out the vanadium oxidation number in this ammonium vanadate. Ammonium is 1 plus 1. We have to find out 3 oxygen atom. Each oxygen is minus 2. So it would be V plus 1 and minus 6. It would be minus 5. It would be plus 5. And in this, we have to find out the oxidation number of V. Okay. Since V, 2 oxygen, each oxygen is minus 2, and then chlorine is minus 1. Minus 4 minus 1 is equal to 0. V is equal to plus ka 5. In both compounds, the oxidation number for vanadium is 5. So the change is 0. So B is your correct option. Okay, it's very easy. Mm, mhm. Yeah, try this question.